Hello everyone, welcome again to my channel. I'm Archana Singh, and in this video lecture I'm going to talk about the literature and important writers and their works of the Age of Revival. In my previous video lecture I have discussed the historical and political background of the Age of Revival. So if you have not yet checked this video, my previous video, please go and check because it will help you to understand the writers and their works. Okay, so without wasting time, let's begin. The very first writer and their works I have taken is Thomas Malory. Thomas Malory was born in 1416 in Warwickshire, England, and in 1441 he became a knight. He was given a title as Sir, and he became Sir Thomas Malory. Later, Malory started committing crime including armed assault, murder, theft, rape, extortion. He was imprisoned many times. Okay. Although Malory has committed many crimes, but he also served in British Parliament, so he was given royal pardon. Okay. Again in 1460, he was arrested for the last time at Newgate prison, where he has written Le Morte d'Arthur. Okay. Although Le Morte d'Arthur was completed in 1470, but it was published by William Caxton in 1485. Okay, and Malory died in prison in 1471. Malory died in Newgate prison in 1471. Now let's discuss some important facts and summary of Le Morte d'Arthur. Okay, the book is completed in 8 books, but William Caxton separated this book in 21 part and published it in 21 book. Okay. Later, many writers inspired from Malory Morte d'Arthur, like Tennyson wrote Idylls of King, which was based on Morte d'Arthur, and Mark Twain also wrote Connecticut Yankee, which is also based on Malory Morte d'Arthur. Spencer wrote Fairy Queen. Okay, now let's discuss important character of the Le Morte d'Arthur. The very first character is King Uther. He was the father of King Arthur. Next is King Arthur. He was a high king of Britain and a founder of the Round Table. He was married Guinevere but had no children. Okay. Next character is Igraine. She was the wife of Duke of Tintagel. Okay. But King Uther fell in love with her and he married with her, and King Arthur was the son of King Uther and Igraine. Okay. Next character is Merlin. Merlin is a magician and Merlin helps Uther to find Igraine as his wife, and later he became the advisor of King Arthur. Okay. And once he predicted the downfall of the Round Table. Okay. Next character is Guinevere. Guinevere, who was the wife of King Arthur, and Guinevere had an affair with Lancelot. Lancelot was a knight in Arthur Round Table. Okay. Next character is the Lady of Lake, who is a mystical figure and who gave king his sword, Excalibur. Okay. Arthur's sword name is Excalibur, and after getting this sword only he became the king of Britain. Okay. There were 12 knights in the King Arthur Round Table, and they were the best knight in King Arthur's kingdom and lived in King Arthur Castle, Camelot. Okay. There's a knight Lancelot, a knight in the Arthurian Round Table, and had an affair with Guinevere. Guinevere, who is the queen of King Arthur. Next character is Agravain, was the knight of the Arthurian cycle, and he was unhappy knight and plotted with Mordred to expose Guinevere affair with Lancelot. Right. Agravain was also a knight and he was the nephew of King Arthur. Okay. Next character is Mordred. Mordred was the son of Arthur and his half sister Queen Margaret. We can say that Mordred is incest son of Arthur and Margaret. Bedivere was also a sole surviving knight of the Round Table. Now, after going through these characters, you will easily understand the summary of Le Morte d'Arthur. So, let's discuss what happens in this book. There's a king named Uther in Britain, and Uther had affair with Queen Igraine, and they had a son named King Arthur. After the death of Uther, it was not clear that who would be the next king. Okay, there was a sword named Excalibur. Okay, sword name is Excalibur, and no one could able to lift this sword. It was said that one who would lift the sword would be the king. King Arthur lifted this sword and he became the king of England. Right. Arthur established his kingdom with the help of his knight of Round Table. When Arthur marries Guinevere, Guinevere's father gives Arthur the Round Table, at which 150 men can sit in one time. Arthur fights a number of battles, like he fights with Roman Emperor Lucius, and with the help of his knight, he won all the battles. What is the main quest of all the knights, all the Arthurian cycles knights? They're the quest of find the Holy Grail. Okay, so what is Holy Grail? Holy Grail is the bowl or the cup in which Jesus Christ took his last supper. Okay, there's a knight in Arthurian cycle named Lancelot, and Lancelot had an affair with Guinevere, the queen of King Arthur. Although Arthur knows about the affair of Lancelot and Guinevere, but he was prompted by Mordred, who was the incessant of Arthur, to take action against Lancelot and Guinevere. Arthur take action against Lancelot and Guinevere and he banished them. Right. But when Arthur was out of state, Mordred make himself king of England and claims Guinevere as his wife. Right. Sir Gawain, one of the knight of Round Table, was mortally wounded in this battle. Though Arthur kills Mordred, but he himself mortally wounded by Mordred and both dies. Right. Later, Lancelot and Guinevere also died with illness soon after the death of King Arthur. Next writer and works we will discuss is Roger Ascham. Roger Ascham was an English scholar and detective writer famous for his prose style. Right. He served in the administration of Edward VI, Mary I, and Elizabeth I, having earlier acted as Elizabeth's tutor in Greek and Latin. Okay. So, in my previous video lecture, I have discussed about in detail Edward VI, Mary I, and Elizabeth I. So, if you have not yet checked this video, please go and check this video for better understanding. Okay, so Roger Ascham also worked as the tutor of Elizabeth I. Okay, Toxophilus or the School of Shooting is a book about longbow archery by Roger Ascham and first published in London in 1545, and it was dedicated to King Henry VIII. Okay, in my previous video I have discussed about King Henry VIII. So it is the first book on archery written in English. Toxophilus is written in the form of a dialogue between two characters, Philologus, who is a lover of study, and the Toxophilus, a lover of the bow, okay, who is also a scholar and defend archery as a noble pastime. Okay, Toxophilus defends archery as a noble pastime. Toxophilus is also important as a model for how books of instructions could be written in English rather than Latin, and how English could be written in a clear style. Okay, the next work of Roger Ascham is The Schoolmaster, okay, which was published posthumously after the death of Roger Ascham in 1570. Okay, Schoolmaster is one of the foundational works of English education, and it is divided into two parts. Okay, the first of which describes the nature and habits of the ideal teachers and students. And the second book, most likely incomplete, explains the pedagogical technique of double translations, right? Ashram argued that schoolmasters don't know how to identify the best mind among students. They favor quick wits instead of hard ones, failing to realize that quick wits are quick to forget, while hard wits like inscriptions made in stones which require effort retain thing the longest. Okay. या आश्रम कहते हैं कि टीचर जो है वो क्विक विट्स को ज़्यादा अटेंशन देते हैं और वो हार्ड विट्स को नहीं देते हैं, बट हार्ड विट्स इज़ द थिंग विच रिटेन लॉन्गेस्ट, लाइक द स्टोन्स, like the inscriptions made in the stones. Okay. Next great writer of the age of revival is Desiderius Erasmus. He was a gentleman and a scholar, and he was called the Prince of Humanists. Okay. So what is humanism? Humanism is a thought or an outlook which attaching prime importance to human. Okay, humanism attaching prime importance to human rather than divine or supernatural matter. So Erasmus was born in Rotterdam, Holland in 1460, and parents died in early age. Okay, he was a Dutch philosopher and scholar and was a priest in his youth. Okay, his belief in humanism, unrestricted learning, anti-formalism and church reform. Okay, though Erasmus was a priest and he belongs to church, but he was agreed with Luther theology. At the same time, he refused to abandon the church. Okay, he wants to reform the church within. वो चर्च में रहना भी चाहता था और वो चर्च में रह के चर्च का सुधार करना चाहता था. Okay, and still maintain friendship with Luther. So, who is Luther? Martin Luther was a famous 16th century German theologist, a monk, and a religious reformer. Okay, Martin Luther writing helped Protestants to start reformation against the corruption of church. Okay, he wrote 95 theses in which he propounded two central beliefs, that the Bible is the central religious authority and the human may reach salvation only by their belief, not by their deeds. Okay. His 95 thesis is against the indulgences which sell in church by priest and friar. So what is indulgences? Indulgence is something that you have or to do because it gives you pleasure. Okay. Chaucer in Canterbury Tales also talks about indulgence, that how pardoner makes his living by selling indulgence with money. Okay, so if you give money in a church, your all sin is washed away. Okay, there's no need for repenting or crying or weeping. What is need? Only need is money. Erasmus also want to reform the church. Important work of Erasmus is Praise of Folly, which published in 1509, The Education of the Christian Prince, and the New Testament in Greek, and the Colloquies. The most important work by Erasmus is The Praise of Folly, which was written in 1509. It was a critic of church policy and advocated a simplification of Christian doctrine. Okay, folly is personified and gives lengthy praises to lying and adopts a satirical tone when discussing the corruption within the Catholic Church. Okay. The Folly is a book that was something an homage to Thomas More, who was the close friend of Erasmus. In short, we can say that Praise the Folly is a satirical book against the Roman Catholic Church. Collection of Adagia is also an important work by Erasmus, and it is a collection of Greek and Latin proverbs. Okay. Some proverbs are still very popular, like in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Erasmus also helped to translate an edition of the New Testament into Greek. Okay. The Complaint of Peace is also an important work by Erasmus. Peace concludes that only in Christ humanity finds true peace. Okay. It talks about that war is inhuman and opposes Christian doctrine. Right. He was died in the age of 69 and his last words were, "Lieb God, Dutch for dear God." Next writer of the Age of Revival is William Tyndale. He was an English writer. He was born around 1494 and died in 1536. Okay, he loved the word of God and he is known for translating the Bible into English. In 1535, Tyndale was arrested, tried for heresy and treason, and then strangled and burnt. But it is said that the main cause of Tyndale strangle is not the treason, but the translation of Bible. Okay, the church believed that if common people had direct access to the Bible, they would misinterpret it. Right? They would question the teaching of the church and the authority of the priest. Okay. So due to the translation of Bible, Tyndale was burnt. In 1534, Tyndale translated Bible from Greek, Hebrew, Old Testament, and in 1535, Miles Coverdale published the Bible of its complete translation. Okay. And in 1536, he was found guilty and was burned. William Tyndale was not only burned but hanged at the same time. So Tyndale's final words were, "Lord, open the kings of England eyes." Later we see that how the prayer of Tyndale was granted by God, and Henry VIII stood against the Roman Catholic Church and brought Reformation. I have discussed in my previous video lecture in which I have discussed the historical and political background of Age of Revival. So please go and check this video. Now let's discuss the last great important writers of the Age of Revival, who is Thomas More. Thomas More was born in London and lived from 1478 to 1535. He was a lawyer, a humanist, a statesman, and author, as well as a advisor of Henry VIII. Okay. More studied in Oxford University and he learned Latin and Greek. Thomas More was a devout Catholic and he saw the Protestant Reformation as being evil and dangerous. Okay, so Thomas More did not believe in Reformation, he did not believe in Protestant. Okay, and he saw the Protestant Reformation as being evil and dangerous. Okay, he believed that the Roman Catholic Church was the only true church. Okay, Thomas More was famously known for his Utopia, which was written in Latin in 1516 and later it was published in 1551 in English by Ralph Robinson. Okay. When Henry VIII split from Catholic Church, More refused to recognize him as the supreme head of the church and continued to argue against the king divorce. Okay, I have discussed about it in my previous video lecture, so you can go and check the historical and political background of the Age of Revival. Okay, so More continuously argued against the king and he was found guilty of treason and he was imprisoned and executed in 1535 in the age of 57-year-old. Thomas More also wrote many letters which can be seen in museum today. In 1935, More was respected as a saint. Okay, and More was also a subject of a play called A Man for All Seasons. And a film was also made on it and the film won the Oscar. Okay. So in my next video lecture, we will discuss about Thomas More Utopia, which is very important from the exam point of view. So stay with archana.net.jrf.in. Thank you.